ever had a pumpkin pie that you felt was light, fluffy, and totally blew your mind? This pie might be that pie. This week, we are totally changing your idea of what a pumpkin pie is and can be. Now, you're probably used to pumpkin pie being a little, I don't want to say thick and stodgy because I love pumpkin pie, but heavy. This pumpkin chiffon pie is different because we're making a crumb crust out of ginger snaps. And into the pumpkin filling, we are only putting a little bit of ground ginger and half a cup of Cointreau. Now, some of you probably know what a chiffon pie is if you've been watching my videos or other retro creators online. A chiffon pie is a pie which has a filling of whipped egg whites held together with gelatin, which is essentially no bake because the sugar in the pie is going to cook those egg whites a bit, so it's totally safe to eat. I'm so excited to try this pumpkin pie, and I hope you are too, because I think it's going to totally change my mind on what a pumpkin pie can be, and it's not even a new recipe. We're actually going to the past to bring something to the present which most of us haven't tried before. I think that's amazing, and that's why I love doing this channel. Let's get started. Crush ginger snap cookies to make 1.5 cups of crumbs. I would roughly crush them at first, then get a measuring cup and see if you have roughly 1.5 cups. If you don't, add some more cookies and do remember that they will be crushed to a finer consistency. Speaking of which, I did not want to use a throwaway plastic bag to crush my cookies, so I tried a few ways of crushing my cookies without using one, and finally found that a potato masher makes for a very fine cookie crumbler. I recommend it. Next, add your softened butter and a pinch of salt if you want. Mix well until it comes together. The salt was not part of this recipe, but I feel like every crust can do with a little bit of salt. Pour into your pie plate and push to form your crust. Just be careful because your crumbs do want to roll around at this point. They are not very sticky yet. That looks good. Bake at 375 for 8 minutes until it sticks together and is a little browner. Allowed to cool completely. In top part of double boiler, add your gelatin, sugar, salt, and ground ginger. It doesn't really matter what order you add these in. Mix well. Stir in the water. Beat in egg yolks, one at a time. By the way, the water underneath these egg yolks should be boiling at this point. That's why you want to keep mixing continuously. You do not want them to start cooking and scrambling, but you do want them to heat up a bit. Add Cointreau. Stir mixture constantly until gelatin is dissolved and mixture has slightly thickened. It should look like this. Remove from heat and stir in pumpkin. After mixing well, you want to allow this to cool completely before we pour it into our shell. Beat egg whites until stiff but not dry. Gradually beat in remaining third cup of sugar until very stiff. We want stiff meringue-like peaks. If you do not have an electric hand mixer, I wish you all the luck in the world. Whip your cream. Add your cooled pumpkin mixture and whipped cream to your stiff egg whites. I didn't mention this before, but your stiff egg whites should be in a large bowl. Fold it in. Try to blend the components without deflating our hard-earned volume. You'll notice mine is a little bit lumpy at the end. That's because I was a little bit scared to deflate it, and I think I may have over-whipped my cream a little bit. However, it didn't really affect the pie. Pour your mixture into your cooled crust and smooth it.
Channel your Martha Stewart while smoothing this, get it nice and wavy. Chill until gelatin has set. Decorate with more whipped cream. This is additional to the measurement in the ingredients list, and it's totally optional, though I highly recommend it. I didn't really know what kind of design I was going for here. Cut and try your best to get out a slice and enjoy. I did not get a perfect slice. I can say, however, that the subsequent slices after this first one did come out better, so it might have also just been first slice problems.
So now it's been a few hours since this went into the fridge. I'd say about 3 hours. And though my pie didn't come out in a perfect piece, the pie itself does appear to be set because it's not melting. What I might suggest that is not written in the recipe is spraying your pie plate before you put the crumbs in. That might help it release a little better because, like I said, you can see that the pie itself is not melting in. It is solidified, but I had a little trouble getting my perfect slice out. Let me have one more bite. Wow, this has certainly reinvented the I'm not drunk, I swear. This is unlike any pumpkin pie I've ever had before. Why I had to give it so many tastes is because one, the texture of the pie itself is the same consistency as the whipped cream. Just air, really. Dangerously easy to eat. Secondly, I wasn't expecting to be hit in the face so hard by the Cointreau. I thought it would be more of like a background element, but no. My first bite was a big smack across the side of the face with the Cointreau. Maybe make a separate pie for the kids' table if you're gonna make this one for your family gathering. And then third, I feel like the pumpkin in this pie was only really used for the color and to give it a bit of body. I almost want to call this like a Cointreau pumpkin chiffon pie. I like it. I like the texture. I love my imperfect crust, to be honest. I'm gonna rate this pie 7.8. I can't quite get it up to 8 out of 10 because the name of it is pumpkin chiffon pie and I'm not getting a lot of the pumpkin in there. But I can't give it nearly just a 7 because it is a really good pie. I would want to rename this like BOOZY Cointreau pie with pumpkin. If you're looking for something not to smack you around the face with booze, then I would recommend subbing the Cointreau for orange juice and you'll still get that citrusy flavor in there. Thank you so much for watching this week and I'll see you next week for another episode of Vintage Recipe Hero. I'm gonna finish this and maybe have one more bite, or 2, or 3. I'm really feeling the booze a little bit. See you next week. Bye. The thing with this pie is you can't really just take one bite.